Well, hello and welcome to our webinar, Add Pro to Your FM Career with the ProFM Credential. So we will begin with the content of the webinar here shortly, but before we do, I'd like to go over just a couple of technical notes. First of all, this session will be recorded. Everyone in attendance will receive an email within 5 days with both a link to the recorded session and access to an electronic version of the slides. Second, this event will, at the end, include a live Q&A session, question and answer session. To submit questions throughout the session, please type them into the Q&A panel on the right-hand side of your screen, and be sure to send your questions to all panelists. As time permits, we'll answer as many as possible. If we're not able to address your questions, we'll follow up with you directly over the next few days. So let's go ahead and get going. The first thing I'd like to do is introduce the speakers today. My name is Randy Olson. I'm the Vice President of Business Development for the Professional Facility Management Institute, and I have overall responsibility for the design, development, and distribution of the ProFM Credential program. And then second, and more importantly, is our speaker, Alana Dunoff. And we're happy and blessed to have Alana with us today. She's got over 24 years of experience as a strategic facility planner and 13 years as a facility management instructor. She currently teaches in the facility management program at Temple University. Alana is a passionate advocate for FM education, and again, happy and pleased to have her here. Welcome to the webinar, Alana.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right, so where we're going today is we're going to just take a brief look at the value of FM training and credentials. So why would you pursue this? And then Alana's going to dig into what we like to refer to as the 24 things every FM should know, and dig into our facility management body of knowledge and the ProFM body of knowledge. We're going to talk about how that would affect your career and how you advance your career with this training and education and credential, and then how you would go ahead and get this. So what are the steps to getting the credential to a complete all-in-one program? At the end, we'll talk about some special offers, and as I mentioned earlier, wrap up with questions and answers. So you want to stay to the end so that we can address that special offer in the Q&A session. So with that, I think, as you all know, as facilities managers, you've never been more impactful or important to the organization that you work for. And to really illustrate that and really put some color around why you would pursue an education program or a training program or a credential program is, really look at current trends in facility management. And, through a recent trends report, there's a number of things that are critical today for the facility manager, but then also looking forward. And I think all of us would agree that the advancement of technology has never, it's never moved as fast. There's never been more opportunities to implement technology and then really make good, solid business decisions through the data. So, that technology has really changed a number of the ways we work and really, started to create this concept of smart workplaces. There's a stat that says by the year 2020, there will be 25 billion connected things in use across facilities, up from 4.9 billion in 2015. So if you think about that advancement of technology, that's incredible. So smart buildings with, lights and sensors and windows and HVAC units, doors and CCTV integrated into a network will become more and more common. And facility managers are leading that implementation of the technology. But probably more important than the technical aspects of what we're going to talk about today is fundamentally we're all in the people business. And as we look at the workforce today, you're dealing with a multi-generational workforce and all the challenges and opportunities that come along with the multi-generational workforce. So if you're like me and a baby boomer, you have different thoughts and ideas and needs and wants out of your workplace or your work situation that somebody's in Gen Y. And again, to be able to effectively communicate across those generations and provide value to all those generations as it relates to the place that they work at or the organization they work at has never been more important. And then there's much more focus around collaboration. You'll see as part of our BOK this cross-functional competency called collaboration. And collaboration really leads to innovation in the workplace. So again, being able to effectively communicate and provide the right workplace across different needs and wants of the multi-generational workforce has never been more important. And facility managers are on the front end of that. They're leading that change, and they're leading that implementation. So with that, we firmly believe that there's several areas where the ProFM and the body of knowledge for ProFM that Alana will talk about in a minute would plug in to help and fill those knowledge and skills gaps needed to provide that necessary service. With that, statistics-wise, so 73% of organizations say that FM certifications and designations are important in making decisions about promoting employees. So everybody on the phone probably would like to get promoted and, probably have the associated benefits along with being promoted. So it's important to pursue these education and credentials. And then 59% of organizations reported that education and training increased the facility staff productivity. The sources of those are building, operating, and management, a couple of different surveys conducted in 2015 and 2017. And then last, if you're not talking to your employers about helping you fund this training and education, 66% of organizations provide support for employees to get FM certifications and designations. So, probably a next step for you is to go talk to your employer about whether there's opportunities for them to help you. So with that, I would like to turn this over to Alana for the next part of our presentation, and she will take us through the ProFM body of knowledge and what you'll learn in the program. So with that, Alana, you now have control, so you can take it from here.
I do have control. Good afternoon, everyone. So as Randy mentioned, I am an FM educator. I have earned my ProFM, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit about sort of the content behind the ProFM body of knowledge. And to give you some sort of basic background initially, too, that the body of knowledge for the ProFM was developed by practicing FMs, and then it was validated in a pretty comprehensive research study of over 3,000 FM professionals globally. So it really looked to see how FMs are thinking and working today and making sure we had the knowledge that we're really using and needing today. So the result is this sort of comprehensive set of 24 KSAs, or knowledge, skills, and abilities that all FMs really need to know to be successful in our work. And so what I'm going to do is give you a brief overview of all 24 so you can get a sense of the depth of the content that the ProFM body of knowledge has. And it really is sort of chock full of useful and helpful information, both strategically and thinking really big, as well as tactical and practical operational ideas as well. As a seasoned FM professional, you sort of think, well, gee, there isn't anything I could possibly learn, and yet I still did as I was going through the material myself. And I'm going to be following this diagram that's going through colors here as I go through the next couple of slides. So the first sort of module or part of the sort of core of the four primary modules, sort of the circle, the wheel in the diagram, is operations and maintenance. And this is often where many FMs feel the most comfortable. They're kind of comfortable in this zone, but there's actually still quite a bit to learn here. So within the O&M module, there are 5 main topics that it covers. It includes technical services, which is the preventative, maintenance, predictive, run-to-failure maintenance strategies for all of the hard services and systems within our buildings. Occupant services looks at all the people, because we do have to manage people in our buildings, even though sometimes we may not want to. There's still lots of people in our buildings, and they require a lot of services, from food services to copy services and custodial services and the other 30 or 40 other types of services we might provide to our organization. So this really dives into what those look like and how that works. Work management focuses in on the workflow and work order process, and also looks at related technologies like CMS systems and integrated work management systems, and how they are all part of the workflow management process. And then for this last one, then the next one, is utility management, and this is one that I actually learned quite a bit in. So this is a real look at how we manage our utilities, water, energy, gas, and looks at consumption and utilization, as well as how to be more efficient with these. There's also information on calculating industry metrics and even understanding how to read a water and electric bills, which I particularly thought was interesting. And then the fifth topic in operations and maintenance is space management. And this covers all the planning and management of the space for people, where people work, in conference rooms and offices, workstations, and so on. And this looks at determining occupant needs, so what they need to work in their space to be productive, as well as looking at move management practices. The second module is asset management, and this module focuses on sort of the various activities that as FMs we have to engage in to manage and realize the value from our physical asset. We know that next to people, our buildings are the most expensive things we own, and so this module really looks at the sort of asset management process, and it has 4 topics that it covers. For project management, it covers sort of the soup to nuts for project management, and it follows the Plan, Do, Check, Act model for project management. So it talks about from the early project charter through execution and closeout. The strategic planning topic covers really sort of an in-depth look at understanding the organization and the role that facilities professionals play in making sure that we are aligned with the organization and that what we're doing supports the organization's plans and the organization's mission. The capital planning topic dives into sort of the financial processes associated with having strategic planning and wanting to grow and change and have new direction in your organization. So this really focuses at looking at large-scale capital projects and looks at things like creating business case plans. It looks at return on investment and other calculations and ratios, as well as things like life cycle cost analysis. So this is one of the financial or heavier topics within the body of knowledge. And then asset management rounds out with construction. That again is sort of the soup to nuts of the construction process, from design and working with architects and designers to programming and execution and final project closeout. The third module is risk management. And risk management is something that I think is one of these new things that are popping up more and more within our radar in facilities management. And so this module really looks at the process of identifying, analyzing, and sort of managing risk. There are 4 topics that are included in this module. First one is compliance and standards, and I made myself a note here that I wanted to also sort of mention that one of the things that I find really interesting with the ProFM body of knowledge is that it now incorporates all of the ISO definitions for facilities management. So these are sort of brand new, hot off the presses definitions of what facilities management is globally. And the risk management happens to be a place where some of those definitions come into play. Risk management also includes a topic section on environmental health and safety, which includes things like indoor air quality, hazards, and fire. The section on security looks at both physical security and also a lot on cybersecurity. And then it also talks about things like workplace violence. So a lot of really relevant and helpful information for today. And then finally, it covers a pretty in-depth section on emergency management, which starts from the planning and preparation, should you ever have an emergency, to what to do with response and incident, as well as covering things like business continuity. How do you get your company and your organization back up and running? So a lot of really in-depth, good, and relevant information in this module. And then the 4th module in our sort of wheel here is business management. So this module looks at all the skills and sort of the mindset that we need as FMs to both manage and lead our staff, our customers, and even our vendor partners. The topic also looks at financial management, which includes understanding financial statements from our organization. It also looks at developing budgets and how we manage budgets, the operational budgets for our organization. We also talk in this module about procurement and our relationship with procurement, how we buy things, how we get things, the things that we need for daily operations. There's a section on contract management, since a lot of what we do is often manage contracts. So there's a significant section that talks about service level agreements and managing vendor partners and what those contracts look like. And then there's a final section on real estate, which is a pretty in-depth look at both the owned versus the leased properties and the different processes you might have depending on the type of properties that you might have in your portfolio. So those are the four core competencies within the wheel. But you'll notice that we sort of have one more, and it's sort of in blue here, that it kind of encircles or wraps the other modules. And that is because this fifth module is what ProFM calls the cross-functional competencies. So these are the topics that are sort of inherently woven into sort of everything we do, and they're within all four of the other modules. So this covers things like communication, sustainability, quality, innovation, and collaboration. And we can't talk about any of those other four modules without also talking about these elements as well. Sustainability is part of everything that we talk about these days, and so it's sprinkled throughout the conversations in the other four modules. So we will address all five of these in their own module, but then you're going to see them talked about inherently sort of throughout and woven in throughout the other modules too. So I have two more slides that they've asked me to talk through as we sort of shift out of the sort of body of knowledge. So they asked me to talk a little bit about what I think the value is of the ProFM and why it's such an important credential. I'm an FM educator. I've been in FM for so many years, and I personally believe that any opportunity to learn and grow is just a great and awesome thing. FM is not a stagnant profession. It's constantly changing, and there are new things and new technologies to constantly learn. There's the Internet of Things, and how do we get ahead of the curve? I mean, there was a time when sustainability wasn't a thing, and now it's part of our daily vernacular. Emergency preparedness and, active shooter drills, that wasn't a thing 5 years ago, and now it becomes part of our conversation. And I feel like the ProFM body of knowledge is just so relevant and full of substantial information that really can elevate your career, elevate your knowledge, and your information. And I think it really bridges the gap of the kinds of skills that we need to do to continue to be successful and sort of keeping pace with sort of the ever-evolving profession. And as I wrap up my portion here, I'd like to say, too, that if you're a manager or supervisor, that one of the best things you can do for your staff is to give them the gift of learning, investing in them so that they can come back and grow and bring back those knowledge, skills, and their new ways of learning and new ways of solving problems back to your organization. As Randy said, I've been teaching, credentialing for over 8 years, and the confidence that somebody gains when they earn their credential, it just spills over into everything else that they do. And so I think there's a ton of value in thinking about how to increase that job performance, increase that confidence, increase that loyalty with your staff within your organization. So that's what I have here. So, Randy, I am going to turn this back to you.
Great. Thank you, Alana, and great overview of the body of knowledge. My guess is everybody that's attending the webinar would love to take the class with Alana. She's wonderful, so appreciate that overview. So what I'd like to do next then is talk about the how. So how would I get this? And before I do that, I just want to remind everybody that we're going to answer questions at the end. So if you've got questions, please type them into that panel on the right-hand side, and we'll get to as many as possible here at the end of the webinar today. So we've made this very logical and straightforward to get through the program, and it's really, 5 steps to get there. So first of all, you invest in the program. So either get into the self-study program or self-directed program, or attend one of the ProFM instructor-led classes that are being offered. Second, assess your knowledge. So as you get in, where do I line up right now with those 24 things? So there's a pretest that really measures that and allows you to take that measurement and kind of self-assess yourself and then create the study plan for you. So then take that study plan and enhance that knowledge through the reading materials, through the online tools, and then check that knowledge with progress checks along the way, and then last, with the final assessments built into the platform, earn the ProFM credential. So the way the program is put together, let's just kind of talk through that here. First of all, as Alana talked about, the body of knowledge is the basis for everything that we deliver and develop on top of. So those 24 things that we just at a high level covered is the basis for the program. Please know that key inputs into that were the ISO standards, the 41,000 series of standards, and the Federal Building Personnel Training Act were key inputs into development of this body of knowledge. So that's the basis. Next, then, we've developed the ProFM Credential program on top of that, and it's made up of 3 unique parts that are integrated together to deliver this program. The first of those parts is comprehensive reading materials. So there's about 1,200 pages of content that encompass those 5 modules that Alana talked through. Those materials are delivered in print, or if you'd like to just get that electronically, you can get that as an e-version only option. Second, then, with that, you get a login into a system that provides interactive online tools for you to enhance the learning delivered in those reading materials. So as I talked about, there's a pretest there that measures you as you go into the program. There's progress checks along the way, so quiz questions, opportunities to kind of apply that to real-world scenarios. And then flip cards for study purposes, a comprehensive glossary of terms, so a whole suite of tools that help enhance the learning in those reading materials. And then last, we built the final exams into that platform. So the exam is broken into 2 pieces, a knowledge exam, so pure knowledge recall from the content, and then an application exam, which takes that knowledge and applies it to your real-world scenarios. So not only what you know, but how you apply it. So that is all delivered in one complete program with one cost associated with it. So then there's options for how you'd like to go ahead and get this. And those options are, there's 3 options for the way you could get this program. First would be in self-study format. So as we talked about, acquire the materials, walk through in your own pace, on your own schedule, and take yourself systematically through the program. So if you're wired that way as a learner and you're able to set aside enough time and effort to go ahead and get that, this is a great way and provides a lot of flexibility for getting through the program. No matter how you go through the ProFM program, the tools are always the same. So there's always the reading materials, the online tools, and the final assessment are delivered the same way. But if you'd like to benefit from taking a class with an instructor like Alana or a ProFM qualified instructor, you could do that in an instructor-led course. So you've got the experience of the instructor, you've also got the experience in the room. So anytime you take one of these classes, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of real-world examples in the room, so you get the opportunity to network with your peers and learn additionally from interaction with your peers. And so again, no matter how you take this, the materials are always the same. So you get those self-study materials, that online platform, access to the final exam, and then those courses are delivered either live or online or in a blended way, so some live, some online. And then last, if you're an organization that would like to come together and do this together, you could come together and do this as a study group, bring in an instructor and do an instructor-led course tailored specifically to you. And it'll get your organization on that common language and skills. So it provides that to you, more customized to your organization. One of the benefits of that is there's volume pricing based on groups of 2 or more. So there's multiple ways to get this and multiple options based on how you best learn. So with that, what I'd like to do is talk about one of those options for the instructor-led course. So we've got a course upcoming at NFMT Baltimore, which is a great conference here at the end of the month. There's a one-day class on either Monday the 25th or Friday the 29th, followed by 9 online sessions. The link at the bottom of this slide will give you the opportunity to get more detail on that and to register for that. So for attending the webinar today, you have the opportunity to save $300 until the end of March on the program with the discount code WEB219. So the way the program is priced, there's really 2 options for the program. So online only or electronic version only, as I talked about earlier. So the normal retail price for that is $16.95. For attending the webinar, you can get that for $13.95. And then online plus print. So adding the print adds an additional $50 to the cost. So $17.45 or discounted at $14.45. If you've got a group at your organization that would like to go through this together, there is savings based on 2 or more. The contact for that is Beth Foshing. Her contact information is there at the bottom right side of the screen. Now, there's more details on our website and more information on our website. So profmi.org is the place to go for that. There's a tool there called Map Your Gap, which allows you to map your current knowledge against what's delivered in the ProFM and kind of points out those areas where you need additional skills and knowledge. There's a free guided tour out there, so and a reading material sample in that free tips and tools section, and then the opportunity to order is there on the platform. So profmi.org is the site to go to get all that information. And with that, I believe we'd like to answer a few questions. So Alana, this is a good question for you. And the question is, I have 14 years as a facility manager, and I must say that, yes, the FM world has changed for the better. My question, do I need the study material or can I just take the test?
That is a great question. I initially thought I could just take the test too, but I couldn't. The thing is that the body of knowledge and the material and the way that the questions are and the exams, it really is specific to the body of knowledge. So while you will know and be familiar with so much because of your own seasoned experience, there is still a depth of knowledge within the material about how this body of knowledge wants you to learn and understand facilities management. So there are some nuances in the knowledge portion in particular of details that you do need to know. You will not pass the exams if you don't read the books.
Okay, and then I'm getting a few questions related to, are there prerequisites to earning the ProFM? And the answer to that is there's no mandatory prerequisites, but it's very beneficial for candidates to have a basic knowledge of facility management. And if you've got a related credential, work experience in those functional areas of operations and maintenance, asset management, risk management, or business management, that would be very helpful. So no mandatory prerequisites, but encouraged to have a basic knowledge going into this. And then I've got a couple of questions about how long it takes to earn the ProFM. And, kind of the general answer to that is it can vary based on, kind of the level you're at and how much time you have to dedicate to this. But if you were to take, total hours, we're seeing on the average about 55 to 60 total hours to get through the ProFM program. And again, that Smart Study tool will systematically create a plan for you to walk through and get it. And then a couple questions about instructor-led courses. ProFMI.org is a great place to go to find those. As a reminder, if you're attending NFMT Baltimore or would like to attend the NFMT conference in Baltimore, there's a course available there through that conference, and would give you the opportunity to take the class on either, the live session either Monday or Friday, and then attend a great conference Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So, that's a great opportunity for you. And then I also just got a question related to how long will I have access to the online component of the ProFM? And the answer to that is you have access for 1 year, so 12 months from the time you purchase it, and it gives you plenty of time to earn your credential. And with that, we are at 12:31, so we're just exactly 1 minute over. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everybody for attending the session today. As I mentioned, we will be following up directly with any questions we didn't get to in the Q&A session. And, there's contact information for us on ProFMI.org. So if there's anything we can do to help you, please reach out. But again, thank you very much for attending the webinar today. We hope it was of great value to you. So have a great rest of your Thursday, and we'll look forward to talking to you all soon.